After 8 years of this Prime Minister and his NDP Liberal government, we're starting to see the hard reality that inflation is the price you pay for all of the programs the government told you were free. Remember, the Prime Minister said he could double the debt, but don't worry, the budget would balance itself. He said that interest rates were low, so not only were deficits permanently affordable, we couldn't afford not to spend. Well, here we are with the devastating human consequences not so long after that, because, as Pythagoras says, numbers rule the universe. No matter how many words are spoken, no matter how many soft lullabies are sung, the reality is that when you spend what you don't have, you drive up the cost for everyone else. And here we are, the cost of government has driven up the cost of living. $500 billion of inflationary debt has bid up the goods we buy and the interest we pay. According to former Liberal Finance Minister John Manley, the government spending is pressing its foot on the inflationary gas pedal, which forces the Bank of Canada to press on the brakes with higher interest rates. And now I bump into people across Canada who are living in financial terror. A shipyard worker in Vancouver told me that his monthly mortgage payment is now $7,500. He's a shipyard worker, Mr. Speaker. 4,000 of the 750, of the 7,500, 4,000 is just for interest. His family is spending basically 50 grand a year on interest for their mortgage. This after the Prime Minister, his budget documents, and his bank governor told that man that rates would stay low. You'd think the government would reverse its policies, but they're doing.
Hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel. So, who do you think's going to wake up first? Americans or Canadians? And here's the thing, luckily we have another very strong, very democratic, and very, very reasonable group of people for the most part to our north. Sadly, we're both heading in the very same direction toward complete and total woke ruin, but one of us has got to survive. And if that happens, honestly, I think it only makes sense that it would wake the other one up, to reverse the course. And honestly, I don't see enough of what's going on up in Canada, but what I do see, I like very much. And I'll get into this in just a minute, guys. But before we do, thanks so much to everyone that's been subscribing, leaving such great comments. Really, really appreciate the support. Guys, if you haven't already, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. Help us to continue to grow. So yeah, if we're to judge who's going to be the group to save conservatism, to save liberal democracy from the unhinged left, by who can actually deliver the message, then dude, it may actually be Canada, because their Conservative Party leader, Pierre PF, I don't know how to speak French, but is an absolute freaking stud. I can't speak that. And the dude just obliterates this prototypical liberal reporter in a way, honestly, that I've never seen another conservative pull off. Take a look at this.
They struggle to actually find young people to do work, and of course housing is a problem and healthcare is a problem, as was mentioned earlier. The hospital here gets closed quite frequently. Nothing to do with vaccinations, I don't believe. It's a doctor issue. It's more a shortage of doctors. So what do you do in the meantime? I mean, you've got lots of plans for building houses, etc., but in the sort of immediate spectrum, what do you do to
create a Blue Seal test to quickly license the 20,000 immigrant doctors we have in Canada. Many of them are prevented from ever working, and they give up on getting a job as a doctor, and they end up taking low-wage work for the rest of their lives. I'm proposing a simple Blue Seal testing standard that would apply right across Canada. Take the test, get the license, get to work within 60 days. Okay, and I mean that obviously you're going to encounter some opposition from the College of Medicine, etc., across the provinces. Yeah, so how do you deal with that issue? We push forward. There's not easy street leads to a dead end. Best hard roads lead to the best destinations. We're no longer going to accept that this or that gatekeeping bureaucracy stands in the way of obvious common sense solutions. It is unacceptable that 20,000 doctors can't work in Canada when we have a massive shortage. And when people come to me and say, yeah, but this or that clerk or bureaucracy is not going to be happy, that's life.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of vested interests and bureaucracies that are going to be very unhappy when I'm Prime Minister.
Okay. On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean,
What do you mean by that?
certainly
Give me
you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Left wing, you know, this and that, right wing. You know, I mean, it's that type of ideological thing.
I never really talk about left
But
or right.
anyways,
I don't really believe in that.
Okay. A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but
Like who?
I don't know who, but...
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
you must know somebody.
That's pretty damn good so far. It reminds me of a video we did of Joe Rogan and that Barry Weiss journalist, right? These people, they just frame things. They just say things, and they create these narratives that they can't possibly explain or back up. If someone just asks them, hey, what do you mean? What does that word mean? Where'd you get that? I mean, how can you guys, as a reporter, ask a question that you really don't know what you mean? How can you form a serious question that's made up of nothing but talking points that you just heard somewhere that you can't explain? It's just nuts, man. It's really crazy. And honestly, it's conservatives' faults for allowing it. These people are so accustomed to being able to just get you on the ropes by saying buzzwords like Donald Trump, populist, left wing, right wing. I mean, come on. You know, these are just words. But can you imagine watching this guy interview Kamala? That would be freaking painful.
Okay, I'm sure there's some out there, but anyways, the point of this question is, I mean, why should Canadians trust you with their vote, given, you know, not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
What are you
also
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me
Okay.
a page? Give me the page. You keep saying
in terms of turning things quite dramatically in terms of Trudeau and the left wing and all of this. I mean, you make quite a, you know, it's quite a play that you make on it. So I'm
I'm not
just
sure.
wondering.
I don't know what your question
Okay,
is.
then forget that. Why should Canadians trust you with their vote?
Common sense.
Okay.
Common sense for a change. We're going to make common sense common in this country. We don't have any common sense in the current government. You know, the guy prints $600 billion, grows our money supply by 32% in 3 years. That's growing the money 8 times faster than the economy. No wonder we have the worst inflation in 4 decades. I'm going to cap spending, cut waste, so that we can balance the budget and bring down inflation and interest rates. You want to be able to pay your mortgage again? You want to be able to afford rent? Then you have to vote for Pierre PF, because I'm the only one with a common sense plan that will bring back the buying power of your paycheck. Second, I'm going to make work pay. Right now we punish work. You know, they're asking, why doesn't anybody want to work? Because work doesn't pay. Why would you work when you get punished for working? Our country now punishes work. You make it, Trudeau takes it. I'm going to cut taxes so people bring home more of each dollar they earn. Housing. We have the fewest houses per capita in the G7. Why? Too much bureaucracy. We have the land. We have more land than any other country in the G7. Yet why do we have the fewest houses per capita? Because you can't get anything built. I'm going to require cities boost home building by 15% per year, or they're going to lose federal money. But those that beat my target will get a bonus. So we reward good behavior and punish bad. That's common sense too. We're also going to bring home safe streets. People are going to feel safe in Kelowna. Kelowna is the worst crime in all of Canada after 8 years of Trudeau and Singh. And I'm going to get rid of I'm going to bring in jail and not bail for repeat violent offenders, treatment and not decriminalize crack to bring our loved ones home drug-free. And we're going to secure the borders to keep illegal guns out while protecting the rights of lawful, licensed hunters and sport shooters.
Wow. How can you even argue with that? You know, what a clear and genuine vision for your country. A conservative solution to bring down costs, bring down homelessness, reduce crime, reduce drug addictions, and strengthen your personal economy along with your country's economy. How can anyone hear these things and not just totally agree? You know, but they don't agree. They demonize it. You know, cut taxes, slash regulation, stop excessive spending. What a crazy crackpot right-winger, right? Which I'm sure is exactly what's going to happen next. I mean, I look forward to hearing this reporter's response.
Back to the drug issue, are you looking at to put any money into treatment? Because that's obviously one of the big things identified.
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. It's the only way out. Treatment is the answer. We need to bring people into beautiful treatment facilities. I think of one facility I visited in Winnipeg recently, where the father of a young man who died of an overdose has created a beautiful facility where they separate the addicts from their addiction, counseling, yoga, sweat lodges for First Nations, a fitness program, a job placement after they leave, and they're building housing right attached to the facility, so that when they graduate, we don't just throw them back out on the street. We put them in supportive housing where they can come back, get some exercise in the gym, see a counselor, and mentor incoming addicts, so that they can have a nice, smooth runway to lift off again into a drug-free life.
Wow. I mean, to this guy's credit, he hasn't tried to demonize him yet, at least, and how could he? Honestly, nothing this man is saying doesn't make sense. It's all thoughtful, it's all reasonable, it's all just plain common sense. And, let me know in the comments if you guys agree with this, but to me, the guy, he believes it. He seems to believe it. He actually seems to care. He feels very, very genuine to me. And, from what I've read of this guy, this is not new. He's been sounding these same alarms for years.
It's obviously going to cost quite a bit, and there's staffing issues involved in this, presumably.
Yes. So my plan on that is I have a dollar for dollar principle. Every new dollar I spend will have to be matched with a dollar of savings. So I'm going to cut the money that Trudeau government is spending on giving out high-powered opioids. They call it safe supply. It's now clear that it's just being diverted and sold to kids to profit drug dealers and pay for fentanyl. Since this experiment began in BC, we've seen a 300% increase in drug overdose deaths, and 30,000 have died nationwide. I'm going to get rid of that program, put the money into treatment, not new drug handouts. I'm going to stop funding activists and bureaucracies and put it into frontline treatment. And finally, I'm going to sue the big pharma, the corrupt pharmaceutical companies who caused the crisis in the first place by flooding the market with OxyContin, which ultimately caused the people to become addicted right across North America. The Americans have now recovered $54 billion. We've covered almost nothing in Canada. So I want to recover those billions and put that money into treatment.
Okay, and just going back to cutting taxes and whatnot,
maybe reporters up there are just different. An American reporter could have ignored literally every word the man said and still be talking about Donald Trump by the end. This was a good watch. And this seems like, honestly, a potential bright spot for the future of not just Canada, but the conservative movement, I hope. It's definitely a great representation of conservative ideas and the conservative movement. I thought you guys would really enjoy seeing it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. And if you haven't already, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. See you in the next one.